Good morning, CLI Church family. I'm honored to be able to share the morning Devo with you today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Robby Rakes, and had on my heart today to share with you Psalm 143. So I'm going to start out by reading it in its entirety and just kind of glean from it what the Lord's been showing me. So Psalm 143, and I have the New Living Translation. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Listen to my plea. Answer me because you are faithful and righteous. Don't put your servant on trial, for no one is innocent before you. My enemy has chased me. He has knocked me to the ground and forces me to live in darkness like those in the grave. I am losing all hope. I am paralyzed with fear. I remember the days of old. I ponder all your great works and think about what you have done. I lift my hands to you in prayer. I thirst for you as a parched land thirsts for rain. Come quickly, Lord, and answer me, for my depression deepens. Don't turn away from me, or I will die. Let me hear of your unfailing love each morning, for I am trusting you. Show me where to walk, for I give myself to you. Rescue me from my enemies, Lord. I run to you to hide me. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your gracious Spirit lead me forward on a firm footing. For the glory of your name, O Lord, preserve my life. Because of your faithfulness, bring me out of this distress. In your unfailing love, silence all my enemies and destroy all my foes, for I am your servant. So I just want to share a few thoughts that I've gleaned from this psalm. First, I see how transparent and honest David is before the Lord. He tells God exactly how he feels. For example, he says, I am losing all hope. I am paralyzed with fear. My depression deepens. My enemy forces me to live in darkness like those in the grave. For someone to be this vulnerable, it shows a real trust exists in that relationship. It also tells me that even as believers, we will experience these emotions as well, and that's okay. Circumstances around us will inevitably influence us, like the virus and social distancing is doing today. But I just want to point out that even though David recognizes how he feels, he does not let it define him. He brings it to the Lord. So how does he do this? Well, here's what I've observed. He recognizes his need of a Savior. He says, don't put your servant on trial, for no one is innocent before you. You know, we all fall short of the glory of God, right? But he also recognizes that he is unable to change his circumstances and cries out to the Lord for help. Now, he also speaks God's truth over his situation. He says, hear my prayer, listen to my plea, answer me, because you are faithful and you are righteous. You know, that tells me that it is not anything special in what we do or how we do it. It's just being honest before God, speaking his truth, and allowing him into our heart. And next, he remembers all of the good things that God has done in the past. He says, I ponder all your great works and think about what you have done. So maybe when I find myself in a situation like today, I should recall God's greatness and not dwell on my current situation. He also prays. He says, I lift my hands to you in prayer. It is always more productive to focus our attention on the answer and not on the problem. So as we continued to read, it seemed to me that there is a definite shift starting in verse 8. To me, it's an example of how we get our strength from the Lord. See, in verses 1 through 7, David is in great distress and crying out to the Lord. But in the midst of everything going on around him, he still brings it all to the Lord, recognizes his need of a Savior, speaks God's truth over his situation, remembers God's great works in his life, and he prays. So then in verse 8, there is a peace that occurs after the process that he goes through in verses 1 through 7. So listen to what David says again in verses 8 through 12. Let me hear of your unfailing love each morning, for I am trusting you. Show me where to walk, for I give myself to you. Rescue me from my enemies, Lord. I run to you to hide me. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your gracious Spirit lead me forward on a firm footing. For the glory of your name, O Lord, preserve my life. Because of your faithfulness, bring me out of this distress. In your unfailing love, silence all my enemies and destroy all my foes, for I am your servant. So this morning, in the midst of everything that's going on, I just want to encourage you. Bring it all to the Lord. Recognize our need of a Savior. Speak God's truth over all of our situations. And remember the great works that he's done in our lives. And pray. And then in time, we too will find God's peace. The peace that surpasses all understanding. I love and miss you all. See you a lot. Take care and hope to see you very soon. Goodbye.